Hi, for those of you who don't know, my name is Liz, and this is my side project, episode 12. I'm showing you from how to go from using bobbins to floss drops and how I store them. I want to start with telling you about a YouTube channel from Katkin and Lily titled How to Use Floss Drops to Organize Your Embroidery Thread to Cross Stitch. She has a very clear instructions on how to put a hank, one of these, onto floss drops and how to use it once you have it on the floss drops. So I, however, am going to show you how to convert your bobbins into floss drops, because I have been using bobbins for probably about 20 plus years. It's all I knew. I hadn't even heard of a floss drop until the wonderful world of Floss Tube. And I still at that point couldn't understand why you wouldn't store them like this and you would have them like that. She made it very clear as to why it would be beneficial for you to go that route. And I decided that's what I want to do. And so now I'm going to show you the part she didn't show you, is how to convert your bobbins back into floss drops. Because shortest explanation I have is when you buy a brand new hank, it hasn't been touched, no one's cut anything off of it. So her instructions work really well for that. However, when you have bobbins that you've been using, it means it's no longer going to be the same length. And I was finding when I followed her instructions for bobbin, they were ending up, this big, this big, this big, this big. When I say big, it's the length. Hold on, let me grab one that I've already done. When I say length, it means this. This is how long it is hanging off your floss drop. And I know people who I've seen where they're only this long because they prefer their threads this long. You have to decide if you want yours long or shorter. That'll depend on how many times you basically fold it, for lack of a better description there. Okay, so I'm going to now show you. So I got, say, one that came from a hank, so it was perfectly the right length. That I wanted mine all to be uniform, that same length. I took a strand off of it that was the proper length for the floss drop. Here's my strand that I've been using to measure. It's going to stay there for a sec. Here is a bobbin I'm going to go with. Have no idea how much I've used off of it. But here's what I'm going to do. You're going to go along with me on this one. I'm going to unwind it. And it's best to be able to have it in your lap. Or that's how I did it. You hang it over the edge of your lap. I'd show you my lap, but my camera holder does not bend down that way. And then I just try my best not to tangle it up. I just lay it out. If you go slow when you're turning it back into a floss drop, you should not tangle it up. You should be able to go slow enough that if you do run into a little tangle, you can easily untangle it. Because when you're getting it off these bobbins, they're all kinky and crinkly, especially if you've had them as long as I have. I suppose I can't tell you how many years I've had each individual bobbin. I did not date them, nor would I start, because that's a lot of unnecessary time spent. All right, so as soon as I have it off this bobbin, boop, and I have my end, I take the end of the length that I have pre-measured out, and I line them up. I hold them together, and then I run them along the length. I release that end, and when I get to where they are together, I fold over. Actually, I just kind of pinch it so you know where you're at. I remove this so it doesn't get tangled up into what I'm doing. I fold that in half so it's a little loop. See the loop? And then I start running them down the side of each other until you meet up with that other end. There it is. Now I'm going to loop, fold it, pinch, and then I'm going to glide my fingers down again so they're together. Once I get to this loop, I'm going to loop it again, fold, gently undo that, and then I'm going to glide them down together, loop again, so they're all lined up, pinch, go down the length to get to the other end again, loop, pinch it together, go down, line them up again. Then, when you get to the length that you want it to be, you want your thread to be. So, when I pull mine off, my thread's going to literally be this long. Because when I do my cross stitches with 2 threads, I have them folded in half, so my thread would be this long while I am stitching. If you're doing singles, you might even want to fold this in half one more time and have it shorter. But this is what I do for mine. I like it this length. And then you meet up the ends, and I have this one end here. And I have to decide if that end is going to bug me and I want to cut it off. For you right now, I'm going to cut it off. I'll show you what I do with it. Now see how it's a little kinky? It's because it's been on a bobbin for forever. So I'll just pull on it a little bit. Now we're going to cut the loops on one of the ends, not this end. This is all the loops. Do not cut that end ever. You're going to cut the loops on the end that have the tail, like your end tails that are already cut. This is the end you're going to cut all your loops. The video I recommended for you, she explains this all to you as well. I'm sure she has better camera setup and stuff than I do as well. Or at least it looks like to me that she does. I think I'm missing a loop. Okay, I think I got all the loops cut. So here is my thread from the bobbin prepared and how I got it prepared. And this was $7.83. I had bought wood floss drops off of Amazon. I believe 100 of them are around $12. You might get a better deal when you get the 200 pack. I got the 200 pack, but it said it's currently unavailable. So I can't tell you what I paid for it because I can't quite remember. I have terrible memory these days. And what we're going to do, and then I have tags. I also got these off of Amazon. You could probably get them at Staples or any kind of what a supply store. But these are the ones I got. They fit perfectly. I was able to write on them, and they fit perfectly in the middle. That way, if I ever need to put a different thread on this bobbin after I empty it, I can peel it off and put a new one. I didn't want it to be permanently on it. All right, so here's how we put it on. You take your looped end and you put it through the hole. All right. Then I pull it through the loop. And then you just cinch it down. All right. It's probably going to drive me crazy that there's that little loopy. When I say a little loopy, it's that. So what you could do is, the reason why it did that is because the floss drops are, not the floss drops, the bobbins cause the thread to be kinky. And you just have to try to straighten it out as best you can. That's why floss drops directly from the hank is going to be so much nicer. I gotten this one straightened out decent, but this is one from a hank. This is one from, that's all kinked up from being on a bobbin. So they're much smoother. All right, I cut off this one piece. I was going to show you what I'm going to do. You fold it in half, line up your ends, fold it in half. Now you have the loop end. Yet again, you put your loop end up in the hole and you pull it through just like you did the bigger parts. Or the, what do you call it? The bundle. And there you go. Now it's on there. Here's where your question of, and you can yet again go and see a better details of this. This is why I swapped over, am in the process of swapping over. You can take your needle, and if you want one thread, you grab a hold of one thread. See? Okay, let me see if I can get it focused. I think I have two threads. My eyesight right now is really bad. I'm waiting for my glasses, so terribly sorry. Okay. Did I get it now? Make sure you only have the threads that you want. With this terrible, why wouldn't it not? And then you just pull. And I know that looks weird for right now. It looked weird to me when I first did it. Here's your thread that you can now stitch with. And you didn't have to remove it. And it's still there. And it's perfectly fine. And you didn't have to. So this, the difference between this and what I was having to do is you have your bobbins. So then you have to unwind the amount you want, cut it off. Then you have to separate each thread that you need out. If you need one thread, two thread, whatever it is. Then you put on the bobbin the amount that you're not using currently. Then you put this away. And then you can go on and stitch. This just saves, so like you just hook your thread, pull it out, voila, you're ready to go. I was like, that saved me a lot of fussing time. All right, then I got what's called curtain rods and S hooks. Let me grab an S hook. And don't have anything on currently. Here's the S hook. The S hook goes into your floss drop, and then you hang it on your curtain rod. I am now going to show you the curtain rod the best I can. This thing only moves so well. All right, let's try not to make you sick, so I'm going to go slow so no one gets seasick. All right, I am using one curtain rod up there and then one curtain rod down here. The S hooks hook to the bar holding your floss drops. And that's what I've gotten done so far, my conversion. I have many more to go. While I'm here, I'm going to show you these rings. They are, let me look them up for you so we know what they're called. Are they called clip rings? I got them off, these ones yet again. I got these off of Amazon. And their name is, they're binder rings. Mine are 4 inches, but they're all different sizes. You have to decide what you like or even if you want them. I got these so that when I have a project, I can put the floss drops that are for that project on that ring. And they're all together for my project. This is my crow pattern. This is my long dog sampler pattern. My Tower of Life 2, the mushroom pattern, has 87 colors, so it's 2 really full rings and it's over with my actual project. But this will be my main, floss drop holder. I will eventually get a curtain, or I will make a fabric curtain that lays over the top of these so that there's no light on them and the dust stays off of them. That's going to be my setup. If you have a bigger wall, you can go with longer, bigger curtain rods. If you have a smaller space, they do create smaller ones, I think. I'm pretty sure. So whatever space that you have or your space constraints are, this is the way I'm storing them. I think other people store them differently. I seen them on a wall like this in one of the floss drop videos. I just can't tell you which one. And I just squinted and looked in the video really closely to try to figure it out. And I did. So that's what I've got. All right. Coming back this way. Slow. Hopefully not to make you nauseous. Are we better? Good enough. We're good enough. I don't want to fuss you around too much. So this is what I have left. I still have these 4 containers to turn into floss drops. I'm just going to do it as whenever I can and get through it. And then I will be able to get rid of all these because I was actually looking at having to add 2 more and put them on bobbins because I got some more. I have more hanks to do that I had gotten. So that's what I am going to be doing. There are probably cheaper versions that you can even do. You don't have to go buy a curtain rod or S hooks or any of those things. I think you can find different ways to store them if you like the floss drops. But you have to decide what your house space looks like and what that feels right to you. As for floss drops themselves, you could do cardboard floss drops or cardstock type. You could even probably buy yourself a die cut, but the die cut would probably cost you a bit to get started because I don't think they're that, I don't know, maybe they're $20. I haven't bought one, so you could just buy one of those and clip out all your own cards. That's up to you. You do things the way you want to do it. It's going to be worth it to me to switch over. All right, well, that's it. I hope that I was somewhat informative and helpful to you. And if not, I'm sorry. At least I gave you a video you can go watch. Have a great day.